Hey everybody, welcome back to Starkey Farmstead. So my name is Samantha, and boy, do I have a lineup for you today. So many things going on in America, but most people are still very confused. You think that these are ICE protests. You think that this is about deporting illegal aliens from America. You think this is Democrats and Antifa just rioting like in 2020 because that is their modus of operandus. That's what you think is going on. My friends and family of the internet, you are sadly mistaken. So welcome back, everybody. If they don't kick us off this live, I've got a ton of information to download into you. So get comfortable. We're going to have porch talk. As you come on, hit the like button, drop in chat, tell me who you are, where you're watching from. That's important. It lets me know what is happening, who is hearing my voice. As you hit the like button and you comment, it pushes this video out into the algorithm for people who may not normally get to see me. Am I lagging a bit? Part of that's internet from where I live in the country, and part of that is them just not wanting me to get this out there. So, America, how do you think Black people are responding to what's happening out there? Well, I've got a video for you because there was a protest in New York, and a Black woman got out of her vehicle and said, "Look, I have a child. All right, I need to get to work." And the protester laughed in her face. He laughed in her face. It was a white guy. He laughed in this young Black woman's face when she said, "Could you please move? I need to get to work. I have a child." Like, you're blocking the intersection where I need to drive my car. And this gentleman thought it was appropriate to laugh in her face. And then this old white liberal got in her face and tried to liberal-splain to her.
Oh no, not work. I care so much.
So you don't care about stopping Black people from going to work? Look at this line that you guys are causing. I'm not causing no problems. I'm not trying to. We're just trying to leave.
Told y'all, and y'all didn't want to listen to me. Y'all called me a madman, but I told y'all, once you get to that point where everybody is divided and everybody's picking and choosing who's the most depressed and who should you care about now and what time of the month is it and who's the person that we got to make sure that is okay. And it don't matter if you got work. It don't matter if you got somebody who's got to go to the hospital. No, you're infringing upon our peaceful protest. Blocking traffic really ain't peaceful. And you come into this situation where you're going to have people fitting different racial criterias. And if somebody who's trying to get to work is Black and the people stopping them is white, it's going to create that conversation of, hold on, wait a minute. How do you feel in this moment stopping a Black person, a Black woman, the most disrespected group in American history? And when you sitting there just saying, who cares? Oh, you're going to work? Well, you could take a day off of work. No, because you don't know what that lady got going on. You don't know if that lady already on her third strike or her fourth strike. I don't know baseball. And you don't know if her being late will lead to her being fired. And then she ain't got no money coming in. And then the bills gonna pile up. And then she probably gonna get evicted. And then the kids gonna have to sleep in the car. And then they gonna have to come repo the car. And then the kids out on the street. And then it's another homeless family none of y'all care about. But if you see them on social media, you'll say, my heart goes out to you. My condolences to what you have going on. And what was I saying in that video not just a few days ago? Y'all create these problems of division trying to be all about being peaceful, all about togetherness. But your execution is piss.
So let me tell you what's happening in America. Identity politics and tribalism has attacked. Eric, you said in Durant, Oklahoma, Walmart employees are wearing capes. Guess what colors they are? Could you please get photographs or videos of that with a timestamp for me, Eric, and get that to me? You can, guys, look, you can send me videos and photographs of what you're seeing across America on my Facebook page at Starkey Farmstead. You can inbox it to me, okay? We need proof. For one, Walmart should not be allowing that in America. By the way, hit the like button. That is going to push this in the algorithm. Make sure you are subscribed. Let's keep going. Let's talk about tribalism. So tribalism, and a lot of people are not going to like it when I say this, has been linked to low IQ. Tribalism comes from mainly countries that are authoritarian, countries that are not developed, not industrialized. So when you import people from those countries with that tribalism mentality into America, which has already been having issues with tribalism, and you guys already know what I'm talking about, it really begins to cause problems. Now I'm going to read an article. It's called Nation versus Tribe, Defining Ideas. This was written in 2017, and whoever wrote this had so much foresight. His name was Victor Davis Hanson. It says America's unique constitution is an effort to subordinate the faction to the state. What he's saying is that our Constitution is written in a way that you can rip off your tribalism, you can throw off the identity politics, and you can be American. You can be anything. You can come to America and you can have the American dream. It is yours. It is yours. It's for you. It was created so you can be anything that you want to be. You can be anybody that you want to be. It doesn't matter if you had drug addicted parents. It doesn't matter if you come from a third world country. It doesn't matter if you're black, if you're white, if you're gay, if you're straight, if you're Christian, if you're atheist. America is amazing. Our Constitution was written so you could lose your identity politics, so you could strip off your low IQ tribalism and be part of a collective group that is rowing like a freaking marathon, bro. We're rowing. Why do they want to destroy the American Constitution? Because they want to keep you low IQ people in your box. They want to keep you on the proverbial plantation. So if you're identifying as Mexican American, African American, he, she, they, them, you are tribal. Your IQ is low. I don't care how many degrees you have. You don't have the capability to think for yourself. You have to identify with a group for you to know who you are. The American Constitution was written so that you could strip that off and you could be an individual. Underneath those stripes and stars, you could be anything you wanted to be. Tribalism is one of history's great destroyers. Once racial, religious, ethnic, or clan ties trump all considerations of merit and loyalty to the larger commonwealth, then factionalism leads to violence. Violence leads to chaos, and chaos leads to the end of the state itself. There are over 1,000 city-states of ancient Greece never developed a notion like that of the Roman nation. By contrast, many different people were bound by common allegiance to Rome. The idea that the city-states were united by a common language, locale, and religion never quite trumped Greek tribalism. That factionalism is why foreign imposed dynasties and empires eventually conquered the city-states. Most of the Middle East and Africa remain plagued by tribalism. Plagued by tribalism. Now, before I finish reading that, I want you to watch something.
Ghanaians, it's been touted, but I think it's true that we are hospitable.
Yeah.
And I think for the foreigner, you see our hospitable side. we fight and back at each other, but for the foreigners, we have open arms. So the foreigners, you have a free pass.
Wow. So let's say, for example, I'm a Ghanaian. I'm from a particular tribe, and I'm hesitant to marry someone from another tribe. How would that, because the family may perceive it to be whatever, this person is lower, whatever those issues are. Now, what about if I'm that same Ghanaian and I'm marrying a foreigner? How would that be perceived?
You've made it.
Let's say a white lady from Amsterdam.
Yeah. Well, you've made it, no? Yeah.
So for African tribalism, marrying the European white woman makes you making it. Wow. Okay. All right. It says here, in Iraq, a civil servant sees himself first as Shiite or Sunni rather than Iraqi and acts accordingly. A Kenyan's first allegiance is to his tribe, his first cousin, rather than to an anonymous fellow Kenyan. The result is inevitably the violence seen in places like former Yugoslavia, Rwanda, Syria, or Iraq. The extreme historic remedy for tribalism is often the brutality of empire. The Ottoman, Austria-Hungary, and Soviet empires were all multi-ethnic, but they were also ruthless in squashing factional rebellion by seeking to suppress or even destroy all minority religions, languages, and identities. Fear of tribalism and diversity is why much of Asia limits immigration. Let me repeat that. Fear of tribalism and diversity is why Asia limits immigration. The same with Mexico. Certainly, an American Mexican or Ugandan who moves to Japan, China, or South Korea cannot easily proclaim himself a full-fledged citizen of his adopted country. In such countries, an immigrant's appearance or religion would supersede his new national affinity. Yet most Asians are unapologetic about what most Asians are unapologetic about, what Westerners might call chauvinism, is not racism. They have no desire for the melting pot and certainly not the salad bowl. Apparently, they believe the benefits of enriching the culture or different modes of food, entertainment, fashion, and art are more than offset by the cost of factionalism and disunity caused by diversity. Mexico, to take another example, has enshrined in its constitution stipulations that immigration shall not impair the equilibrium of the national demographic. In other words, they will never import more immigrants into Mexico than there are Mexican citizens. That's in their constitution. Bureaucrats for not wanting too many people entering Mexico who do not look like Mexican citizens. No wonder that the Mexican government treats illegal immigration as a felony offense, which they do. There's a lot on TikTok and Instagram of people crossing the border and overstaying their visas, and Mexico charging them money and arresting them on the spot. Thank you, Hop and C. Few African Americans or American whites would immigrate to Mexico and realistically expect to ever become full-fledged citizens of Mexico in social, cultural, or political terms. The United States is by and large the exception to the global rule that governments seek to maintain, homogenize, not cultivate diversity whenever possible. Although founded originally by English speakers largely from the British Isles, America's unique constitution was an effort to subordinate the tribe to the state. It was certainly a long process as Africans, Hispanics, Southern Europeans, Eastern Europeans, and non-Westerners were slowly incorporated fully into the state. Along the way, they often met religious and ethnic discrimination. But again, the inherent logic of America was to transcend tribalism and focus on merit and citizenship. The result was twofold: the emergence of greater talent, unimpeded by racial or religious barriers, and a constant awareness that individual identity should not trump political unity. If it did, such tribalism would lead to violence, insecurity, and general impoverishment. Wake up, America. They have imported third world country immigrants who are tribal in their low IQ. They do not see themselves as Americans. They will not see themselves as Americans. In our multiracial society, mere appearance no longer guarantees easy tribal identification. Without open border immigration to reinfuse the tribe, some affiliations become self-contradictory and absurdly require imposed accents, dress, or some sort of insignia to broadcast your tribal identity. Wearing the Mexican flag, putting the abbreviation in your name when it naturally wasn't there to identify with your Latino roots. If being a member of a minority group is all important, why is such membership not self-evident? Why would California State Senator and San Diego native Kevin Alexander Leon have to change his name to Leon with a little hyphen if his Latino bona fides was not immediately recognizable? Identity politics is mediocre and ideological. The tribe resents anti-tribal bias, even as bias is what fuels the claims of the tribe itself. Either screaming "Viva la Raza" is as racist as shouting "Long live the race," or it's not. One can easily observe, but it is not supposed to speak of, the contradictions of affirmative action. For example, universities do not always admit students or hire faculty on the basis of merit because they value racial diversity more than talent, and feel that they can afford to be magnanimous in regulating merit in some areas while not in others. The diversity mandate is not shared, example, in the NBA or the NFL, or even the Postal Service. None of such entities look like America in terms of superficial appearance. Why are too many Asians a worry at UC Berkeley if many professional sports teams do not worry about the dominance of African American athletes? Is university education less important than football? We usually do not select neurosurgeons or nuclear plant designers by factoring in their religion, their race, or their tribe. But we do consider tribal affiliation in selecting our teachers and our politicians. But why do we lower our standards for these latter roles rather than relying on merit? Is it because we think those jobs are less important and will not damage society all that much when merit does not govern hiring? The logic of identity politics is totalitarian and destroys individualism past and present. When history is interpreted not as a tragic story of individuals caught up in good and bad causes, but simply as a melodrama of race or gender, then the record of an individual becomes meaningless. Tribalism destroys the common law and legal system by selective nullification. If particular tribes feel themselves exempt from federal law, chaos ensues. The most egregious case, of course, was the nullification of federal law by Southern white supremacist states that led to the Civil War, the Democrat Party. They did it then, and they are doing it now. I agree. Exactly. Immigration policy for the U.S. in 1787 said, to ourselves and our posterity. We never said, give us your tired, your poor, and your huddled masses. That makes no sense. Segregation and apartheid should have warned us where tribalism leads. Political systems strain under the pressures of favoritism, but they fail entirely under the far greater strain of tribalism, especially one that replaces toxic individual or familiar prejudices with much more insidious, sweeping, and dangerous collective biases. Let that sink in, folks. Let it sink in what I just read to you. Yes, I know it was a lot, but you had better listen to me. I'm not just making this stuff up to give you something to listen to. I am trying to tell you that tribalism is going to destroy this country. Right now, you have a faction of illegal, undocumented Mexican people flying Mexican flags, screaming, "Save Mexico for us." And now you have the Muslims doing this.
Al-Qaeda leader calls on sleeper cells to eliminate Americans. There are 4.5 million Muslims in America alone. And I am saying to all of them, revenge, revenge. Do not consult anyone about killing infidel Americans. You should have a lot of determination, and the list of your targets should be effective. Go after the scum of the earth and its greatest criminals. This is Trump and his vice president. This is Elon Musk and his advisors, or any supporter in terms of finance, administration, and technology. These include his Secretary of State and his Secretary of Defense. Go after their families and all those who have any ties to or close to the politicians of the White House. Ladies and gentlemen, he's far from kidding. So, just what we all waited for as we watched him walk across the border on Biden's watch, now we have 4.5 million Muslims to worry about and their knife attacks.
4.5 million Muslims. Missy Lucas said, I thought we were all one nation under God. Well, seriously? What does that look like to you, Missy? Not following the laws of our country? We may be we might get booted off. The weather just turned bad. Listen up, folks. We're going to have a Zoom Friday the 13th at 8 o'clock Central Standard Time for everybody who gets the newsletter. It's $30 one time, 6 months. You get newsletters, you get a Zoom. We're going to be breaking down what's happening. We're going to be putting you guys in groups. If you did not realize, the left is extremely organized. Why? How? It's time we get organized. And I'm not talking about running out there with weapons trying to overthrow and counter protest. I'm talking about protecting yourself and having people that you can actually depend upon. Okay. Now, let me find what I was fixing to show y'all about how they're organizing.
Sandra, this is a tragic story.
Oh, and this is terrible.
Father of a 5-month-old girl and a 14-year Marine Corps veteran fighting for his life now after he was allegedly shot by an illegal alien who's a multiple criminal offender. Joining us now are Jimmy's sister, Becky Borjan, and his brother-in-law.
That just happened in May. He was shot. He's a veteran. It's really bad out there, folks.
Protest. 2 Latino protesters call a black cop the N-word during the LA protest. We can't win like that. Put up the picture full mass. This has to be checked, dealt with, and if not, the narrative will permeate that the actions of the few indicate the actions of the many, and they do not. A video of Latino protesters in LA peppering a black cop with racist slurs. This is being used to discourage unity between the two communities as protesters continue to take.
And this guy is like, unity between the two groups. Black and brown people better unite. Americans unite, regardless whether you're Latino, black. It doesn't matter. If you're American, push back against this. Do you really want your country flooded with illegal aliens? That's really what you want?
Thank you. Where are you guys from? Colombia? And you stand with Trump? What do you say to someone that says Trump doesn't like Latinos?
Trump is family. Yes.
De familia.
Trump is not familia.
Yeah, he's protection for USA.
Yeah. Well said. God bless you.
Did you all see all of these images that are coming out of Los Angeles? For those that don't know, there was a major ICE operation. Y la comunidad, la gente, they were not messing with it. So it sparked some protests, and law enforcement responded to those protests like this, with people wearing tactical gear, throwing tear gas at the protesters, and just creating fear around the community.
Donald Trump said, hey, Governor Newsom, since you can't keep your citizens safe during these damn ICE riots, I'm going to send 2,000 National Guard members to come get on that ass. Why are y'all acting like ICE just up and decided to deport people? Donald Trump won the presidency, and not only that, he told y'all what he was going to do.
I will not be going out there protesting. I will not be putting my body on the line. I will be doing what I can in other ways, but as a Black woman, after those election results and also after a lot of the racism I've experienced from the community that is currently being targeted, I am not going to go outside and put my body and my safety on the line.
The fact that the National Guard had to be deployed in California because illegal migrants, yes, illegal, felt entitled to stay in a country they've entered in unlawfully shows just how weak and delusional America has become. Let's be real. Try this in China or Russia and see how long you last. You'll be met with swift consequences, expeditiously. But here, we negotiate with lawbreakers and coddle them with protests. What's even worse is that American citizens, yes, our own people, are joining in. That's not compassion. That's madness.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel.
It's not compassion. It's madness. These people are not lying to you. They are not lying to you. Let me tell you something.
In 25 years of being an illegal immigrant in the United States, having 4 kids, being in the hospital and giving birth to 4 children, 4 separate times in the United fucking States, you couldn't have filed a single stitch of fucking goddamn paperwork to be legal or to start the asylee process? Not a single one? 25 years? And you want us to feel bad for you when ICE comes and knocking? You've had 25 years, babe. 25 goddamn years. A quarter of a fucking century to file a single piece of paperwork. 25 goddamn years. You've literally given birth to 4 separate American citizens. And you want us to feel fucking bad because now your ass is fucking yeet us over the border back to whence you fucking came from? And you want us to feel bad?
Now, I don't like her language.
We do not stand with you. Let me tell you something. If you came into this country illegally, you must go. If we went to...
I don't approve of her language, but I understand what she's saying. Absolutely understand what she is saying. So let me explain to you guys these people are very, very organized.
Angeles with that aspect of the story. And look, William, if people just thought, oh, maybe that's imagination, there's video. There are receipts for this.
Yeah, I mean, the money's got to come from somewhere, right? I mean, sure, it's hard to turn out several thousand people on any given night. And so you're going to have the water, the riot gear, the coordination to get out all these demonstrators. You have criminals, you have professional agitators, and activists who support a variety of left-wing issues, and they'll take any opportunity to bash the administration. So one group behind the demonstrations is CHIRLA, Coalition for Humane Immigrant Rights. The IRS document shows $34 million in government grants, including 3 from President Biden's DHS for $750 grand. President Trump cut that off. It also gets state and city grant money for lawyers to fight deportations. CHIRLA spends $10 million a year on salaries, including $200,000 for the director, Angelica Salas.
We are asking that everybody that got arrested today be released. We want them in their houses with their families, with their children.
CHIRLA also founded the Rapid Response Network. That's the hotline immigrants use to report ICE raids. It will then text these alerts so immigrants can go hide and activists can stop ICE operations.
And so I was in a room yesterday morning, meeting with the immigrant rights organizations, and all of a sudden everybody's cell phones started blowing up. That's when we all heard about a raid that was taking place in Whittier.
So another organizer is SEIU. You see the purple there? They have 700,000 members. The union turns out big numbers. Others are simply there to bash capitalism.
We are the real workers. The working class is the one that builds this country. It is the billionaires in power that continue to harass us and attack us and take absolutely everything from us.
Operation Healthy Hearts, according to the New York.
Let me make a point here. Right now in America, 1 out of every 5 employed person in America is foreign born. And that is 20% of the workforce. Imagine if we removed those work visas, we removed those illegal aliens out of this country, how the job force would look. You would immediately have competition in the job force. So if you were a school teacher working in this county and all the illegal undocumented people and visas were taken out, then you could be like, hey, I'm going to move to the county, the next county over, because they're offering $10,000 sign-on bonuses. American citizens would immediately see an increase in pay from Walmart to McDonald's to every position available. You would see new businesses started by legal citizens. You would see people hired. You would see an increase in pay. You would see an increase in, all the extras they give you, longer maternity leave. Yeah. You'd see an increase on your Social Security. How the hell is this country supposed to keep going when 1 person out of 5 is an illegal working in this country or someone on a visa? So that leaves 4 people paying taxes. Yeah. We need mass deportations. We need the head of the snake cut off. Because if you think it's just Antifa, you think it's just ICE raids, it's Mexican nationalists. I keep trying to explain that to you. This is a terrorist group that attacked the federal government, and it needs to be responded to like a terrorist attack. We need the Insurrection Act proclaimed. We need the government to sweep this country, and every illegal alien needs to be removed. Every one of them. By the way, hit the like button, subscribe. Guys, look, we're going to have a Zoom June 13th. That's tomorrow. You still have time to sign up to be on that Zoom, to get our newsletter so you know how to handle what's fixing to come. We're going to have a civil war, because if we don't, where are your kids going to work in 20 years? Do you realize that the tribal community of Mexicans, not Mexicans that have integrated, become citizens, opened businesses, fought in the U.S. military. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the ones who will not get their paperwork done, that live on welfare, that will not speak English, that believe they're on their own native lands. Those people are out birthing American citizens. They're going to be the majority in this country in 20 years, and you're going to be living under people who use identity politics for everything. And you, Black people, will definitely be the minority. You're already outnumbered. You are already outnumbered, Black people, 2-1, where Hispanics are concerned. And very soon, white people will be outnumbered. American citizens are fixing to be outnumbered right now. 20% of the people on American soil are not American citizens, and that's the ones we know about. So you better get tribal for the Constitution. You better put your color politics, and poor me, I was Black and I've had it so hard. I've had it harder than you, Mexican people. Well, I'm Filipino. I had it harder than you, Latino, and you, Black person. Oh, but I'm LGBTQ and I've had it harder than all of you. You know how stupid all of you are sounding? In a country that only wants you to be allegiant to the flag so you as an individual can prosper. And y'all just can't see it.
Post handed out face shields and riot gear to protesters. Now, their kits include a lawyer's phone number to get out of jail. And some of these groups could face prosecution for aiding and abetting.
They might think they're making the community safer, but they're not. And we won't put up with that, and we're going to take criminal action against those type of organizations.
So the bottom line is, Harris, California is loaded with nonprofits that feed off taxpayer money. They can turn out a crowd in minutes, and we're seeing that here, now that coordination in other cities. Back to you.
Yeah, and that's the next part of all of this, too. I'm going to get to that because this is spreading and it's happening so quickly. So how does it happen that they have so much in common as it moves? I'm glad you're on it, William. Great job. Thank you. The dangerous chaos is now on the East Coast. Officers arrested more than 80 people as thousands of them were flooding the streets of New York City. And a terrifying scene in Chicago. This is just not okay. A driver plowed a car through a crowd of hundreds of anti-ICE demonstrators, but there's law enforcement on the ground too. Texas Governor Greg Abbott has also announced that his state's National Guard is ready to be deployed around the state to curb whatever happens there, whatever of this mass protesting.
And let me tell you something about Fox News. They're paid, but they're not on your side either. Did you hear? This is just not okay. The person in the car is surrounded by hundreds of militant, angry, anti-American sentiment. And God forbid they were white. How did they expect that to end? Would you sit in your car? Trust me when I tell you, you guys really need to be on the Zoom Friday night. You need to sign up for that. If you don't have $30, send what you can. Make sure you put your email in the memo. Because folks, listen to me. They're organized. We aren't. And I'm not talking about mobilizing on the streets. That's not how we're going to stop this. I'm talking about teaching you guys how to speak to your Congress people. I'm talking about us educating you about your rights as an American citizen. I'm talking about hooking you up with attorneys that will file suits on your behalf if you have been discriminated against or looked over for a job so an immigrant could have it. It's time for Americans to stand up. Too many of you have no clue what's actually happening. We have to get organized, and I'm not a militant group. So if you're thinking that's what you're going to get by joining me, it's not. And I know a lot of people are saying this. We need to go out and set these people free. We need to go out and lay hands on these people and pray for them. They're demon possessed. I'm going to ask you all this, and it's coming from a place of love. How many of you have ever led someone to Christ? Raise your hand in comments if you have ever talked to somebody who was unsaved, explained to them who Jesus was, and led them to Jesus. One person. So, 2 people, 3 people, 4 people. So let me ask you this. There's 350 something people on right now listening to me, and 6 people, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 people out of 350 have led somebody to Jesus. And you want people who have never even talked to their own family members, co-workers, people that they know and love about the blood of Jesus and salvation. You want these people to now go on the street with the militant, armed, anti-American, anti-Jesus faculties, right? And you want them to do what? What do you want them to do? Walk up to somebody that doesn't even speak your language and try to explain to them how Jesus is? You want them to walk up to someone throwing Maltese cocktails or has an illegal gun in their waistband and do what? Lay hands on them? That's what you think is going to stop this? The Christian church in America is lazy. We won't even identify the sin in our own homes. We won't even tithe to our churches to support our communities. But now, all of a sudden, the church is supposed to stand up, run into the streets, face the angry mob, and pray out the demons? That'll get you killed. You want people to get on a soapbox on the corner with a bullhorn and try to preach the gospel to people? That's not in a mob, angry, militant people that hate you. You think that's the time? We should have been doing it for the past 30 years. You should have been on the streets in your community, getting to know your neighbors, being Christ-like. I ran a bus for 3 years to a ghetto. We had a kid, a man, bring a gun in a box on the bus one Sunday full of kids. I've had to kick dope heads that were too high. They didn't know what they were doing off the bus with children. because I was trying to spread the gospel. But if they start rioting on that same street, that's not when I'm going to go try to teach the gospel. Can I get an amen? Y'all got it twisted. You pray for these people. Yes, you pray for them. I'm praying constantly for America. I am claiming the word of God over my seed and my community and my country. But I am not fixing to put on my tennis shoes, walk out there in all my whiteness, and tell a bunch of militant illegal immigrants that Jesus loves them. Amen, Tyler. Do not cast your pearls to the swine. That's the problem. The Christian church will not even support its own people. I am a Christian who has done the salvation prayer, who condemns sin. And I've got people that want to shame me for asking people to row in my boat because I've not gotten a penny in 3 months. That is hypocritical, my friends. It's hypocritical, my friends. Let me find this one for you guys. Oh, where'd it go? Nope, that's not what it was. Oh, this guy is great. Y'all go watch him later. His name is Ricky Manor. I just found him today.
When they do, this is what I voted for. The ICE race.
But listen what he says.
Shields have going on. Thanks to them, the term racism no longer has the same meaning as it did 20 years ago. They pulled so many false alarms and played the race card so many times that the race card has been shuffled out of the deck. Whenever a black person really experiences racism, they're not taken serious because of all of the whoop tickets that were sold by these Democratic shills in the past. Not even these Democratic shills takes anti-black racism that serious. They will take a tragic situation and use it to elevate other leftist issues. The vigil that we held for Sonia Massey was transformed into a Free Palestine /LGBTQ rally. The George Floyd rally was transformed into a transgender rally where a white...
Hold on, I'm going to let you listen. Anthony just said this to us. Immigrants aren't taking jobs. I understand some stuff. I'm in the middle. Are you going to go do the hard butt jobs or go pick in the fields? Anthony, with your ignorance, let me educate you, friends. 430,000 immigrants, illegal, undocumented immigrants, pick vegetables in America. 430,000. So what exactly, with your brilliance, Anthony, are the other 40 million doing? Question mark. And just so you know, Anthony, America was built by American citizens. Anthony. Not illegal immigrants. You guys have really ramped up and started coming in the past 30 years. Prior to that, Anthony, it was American citizens that built America, not illegal aliens working under the table for less pay, causing American citizens not to get appropriate wage raises. Yeah, we don't need you. We don't want you. If we got rid of the 20% of you here working, the rest of us will be doing way better. You are a strain on the economy. You cost American taxpayers $40 billion a year, Anthony. Go to another channel. My channel ain't for you.
Transgender woman got on the stage and said that black men are the ones who lead some violent crimes against transgender women. It was sickening how many black women were in that crowd cheering that on. I could bet those are the same black women who were saying nothing about Shaquilla Robinson's murderers walking around free today. These black Democratic shields hijack black people's protests to make it about something else that doesn't even involve us as a people. But I'm going to need you black Democratic shields to level with me for a minute. If America is this racist regime, then why the hell are you fighting so hard for illegal immigrants not only to come here, but to stay here? If anything, you should be asking Donald Trump to book you a plane ticket so you can return with them to their home countries. If Donald Trump doesn't do it at your request, I, amongst many of other American people, will raise the money to get you that plane ticket. As a conservative commentator, these Democratic shills have tried to label me as a grifter. Okay, if I am a grifter, then I'm not a very smart one. Okay, let me break it down for you. Unless you're a big name in conservative media, then there's not much money in conservative commentary as there is in liberal commentary. As a small-time conservative commentator, there's only one niche audience. There's not much money in this, and these leftist trolls will engage with your content before your niche audience will. Sure, your audience will engage in your live chat room, but they don't spend much time engaging in your comment section to help you boost your videos in the algorithm. You'll have a lot of subscribers that don't even watch your videos, but will smash that like button just because they like you personally. And your niche audience as a smaller conservative commentator is very fickle. The second that they disagree with you or you refuse to toe the party lines, then they will unsubscribe to your channel. The only time that you'll see most of your subscribers engage with your content is when they're announcing their departure, not when you're asking them to comment on the video to boost you in the algorithm. If I was a grifter, then I would forfeit my fairness for my own personal gain. And you really don't have to be that smart to be popular in conservative commentary as a black person. All you have to do is put up an American flag backdrop, regurgitate some buzzwords and catchphrases, and make negative blanket statements about the black community. However, as a black person doing liberal commentary, then the money can flow into your bank account from multiple directions. All you have to do is blame everything that could possibly go wrong in black America on the system of white supremacy and the ongoing legacy of slavery. For instance, if a black person gets taken out while in commission of a violent crime, then it's the system of white supremacy. These clowns can take anything and make it a MAGA train.
I agreed with him so much. I deal with that with you guys all the time. You'll row in my boat by commenting, but if I say one thing that you don't think's correct, unsubscribe. I'm angry at you, Samantha. How could you do that? How could you say that? I don't get paid enough to put up with what I actually have to put up with. People threatening my life, having to go to the sheriff on another YouTube content creator and putting a restraining order because he tried to dox me. You guys tell me, keep it up, Sam, go, Sam, go, Sam, go. And then in the same comment, tell me why $1 is out of reach for y'all to send. And I'm not being ugly. I understand. I know a lot of people have issues with money right now, folks, but I don't make a lot of money doing this. But I spend a lot of money having to put in an alarm system, train my dogs to home protection, go pick up another 2A, which then they denied. I got to find that letter to show y'all because somehow my husband's on an ATF watch list, but he's never had a criminal conviction or even a misdemeanor. So I'm just saying, when y'all see Christian or conservative content creators, cut us some flipping slack, man. We're shadow banned. We're demonetized. We're demonized. The left is organized. They come at us left and right. And then conservatives want to nitpick about whether or not AI and Trump or did you support Israel, Sam? I mean, it's the most stupid, ignorant stuff. I am American first. I am a military mother. I love Jesus. If you're not behind all of that, get off my channel and leave me be. I will tell you guys this. Saw a woman earlier that says, I comment on your content a lot. She was complaining because Michelle of Squirrel Tribe bought a new house. This woman says, I used to watch Squirrel Tribe all the time. But now I just don't like watching her because she bought $1 million house. First off, her house is not worth $1 million, but thanks for trying. So I said, what's the problem with that? Michelle works really hard. She's got a lot of social media platforms, her and her husband. Well, her husband doesn't work. So I'm just really critical about, YouTubers that have money. Well, YouTube pays really well if they don't demonetize you. I had one video bring in $26,000 because it hit 4 million views. Now, did they pay me that? Hell no. They found a reason to demonetize me. So I was stolen from, but it doesn't stop me from talking truth and trying to educate people. But to see people sitting behind a screen pissed off because Squirrel Tribe works hard, upgraded from an apartment to a house. And then this woman, when I called her on it, she goes, well, I mean, I don't have help. Well, that's your fault. God says that if you'll get off your blessed assurance, he will bless the works of your hands. So I asked her, I'm like, okay, well, are you tithing to your local church? I mean, like, Ricky, you'd have to reach out to me through Facebook at Starkey Farmstead. I'm like, are you like doing what you're supposed to do to get ahead in this world? Because Michelle is, her husband is. It really made me angry. Like, I went off. You want to go look? It's under the Squirrel Tribe video 8 months ago, the short I did where Squirrel Tribe and them were in New Orleans because of the hurricane. I'm like, hey, this is Starkey Farmstead. If you guys need a place to stay, you're welcome to come here. It was that short that she commented under. I tore her a new butthole. Bruh, stop being envious. That's what America's about. You should be like, go, Michelle, because are you going to hate me when my book becomes a top 10 bestseller and Samantha's a millionaire? When Sam's no longer on 2 acres in a mobile home, but she's rocking it in, you know what I'm saying, like a nice house on 100 acres? Are you going to hate me then, YouTube? Friends and family? Are you guys just going to like throw me to the wayside because I made it? I mean, what the heck, bruh? Like, talk about brainwashing. That's what's wrong. That's what I'm saying. The church has failed. We've not called people out on their nonsense enough. Then I did the video on the Filipino nursing, mafia nursing. All these brown and black people, oh, it's racist. You're so racist. When it was happening to black people, nobody was saying anything. Well, black people, you don't want us in your communities, remember? Remember how you guys like say ugly things to us when we try to help you guys out? Stop being tribal. It's low IQ. It's like high school, America. It's like high school. You should never be jealous. Never be jealous. You should look at somebody that's doing it correctly and doing it right and be like, hey, can you show me how you did that? Hey, I want to do what you're doing, so can you show me how to do that? I mean, like, come on, America. When did we start hating people because they were successful? And if you guys didn't see this, hold on. This one was, I think, in
that we have a moral obligation to dismantle.
So you're from Mexico?
Yes, I am.
And
family is.
How long have you been living in the United States?
Over 30 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you came here when you were just little?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. How old were you when you came?
I'm going to say maybe like 5.
5, wow.
Yeah.
You probably travel back and forth a little bit?
Yeah.
Yeah? Like, what's your favorite thing about Mexico and Mexican culture?
The food, the people, the culture is great. History.
Would you, if you had to choose, would you prefer the United States or Mexico?
I would say both, to be honest, yeah.
Like, some people wonder if your family came to the U.S. and you love the U.S. and you're grateful for it, then how come you're flying the Mexican flag instead of the American flag?
I support both. My blood's American. I say my My skin's pretty much Mexican, I share both.
Yeah.
So
I guess like the thing that I'm confused about is it sounds like some people say there shouldn't be any border at all. Would you agree with that? Or do you think that there should be some type of regulation?
it should be somewhat regulation, but not over controlled. Somewhat. Just help the people out.
That's the problem. You can't be both. Choose. That's the point of coming to America, is your individualism. It's being individual. It's that you are so unique. You were created in the image of a loving God. You were fearfully and wonderfully made. There is nobody in the entirety of the universe that will ever have your DNA. You are unique. You are individual. Your skin color is your own. The scariest one, though, out of all the people that she recorded, was not the big, bull dyke, multicolored hair, weird people. It wasn't them. It was the white dude at the end. Watch this.
And how come you think people didn't protest after he deported 3 million people?
I have no idea. I wasn't there. I was in high school.
I was wondering if you heard that the National Guard was deployed in Los Angeles?
I did. Shit's crazy. Yeah, the government is just occupying LA. We don't stand for that. That's why I'm here to fight back.
And what do you think about the protesters throwing rocks at them and fireworks and lighting Waymo cars and cars on fire in the street and looting businesses and putting graffiti all over the walls?
I think that's a minority of people. And it is a justified response to what's going on in our government right now. People are being deported without due process. We, the people, will not stand for that.
So you're from a family of immigrants as well?
I am not.
What do you think about the South African immigrants?
I'm not sure what you're alluding to.
I'm sorry, the white South African refugees.
I don't think that's real. I think that was some shit made up by Elon Musk because he is a white supremacist.
So you don't believe that the far...
That young man has been prepared for his entire life for this moment to destroy the country that has sheltered and loved and raised him. He is so excited. This is cosplay. If you don't know what cosplay is, please look it up. This is Dungeons and Dragons with foam swords, but with real consequences. This is an invasion of a sovereign nation by a foreign army with the intent to destroy and create chaos. This is the destruction of the last Christian nation in the entirety of the world. Wake up, America. If you'd like to support our channel, at the end of the Zoom, I will drop at the top of comments. If you'd like the newspaper, I will also put that information in. God bless America. God bless Trump. Stay safe out there. That's a lie, baby.
You said so.
Oh, I said,